The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on.
Hey, my cosmic cousins. So, Pop Saturn is on the move. We knew it was coming. We knew we would be here soon. And it's walking in the door with some disciplined fire in the form of Aries. Now, with that being said, the universe has declared that it is time for us to stop bed rotting, stop scrolling, and it's time to get active. And you already know I got the tea of what this energy is fin to be. You already know what it is. Before I get too deep into it, Cosmic Cousins, go ahead and hit that like. Go on and subscribe to your girl and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I be wanting to sit with y'all. Now let's get into it. Now, to truly understand what the weight of this energy is, we got to break down the energy and understand Pop Saturn a little bit. You got to understand why I called it Pop Saturn first of all, okay? Saturn energy is old as hell. All right. Let's just start there. It is father time. This is where Kronos lives. And if you still work a regular 9 to 5, most systems are clock in and out using the Kronos system, which that system does what? Keep track of your time. Saturn also represents our limits, our boundaries. Saturn is that hard no. With no follow-up information, no follow-up explanation. It's just the answer is no, because I said so type shit. And of course, this is when an energy is no longer sustainable with the life path that you are supposed to be on. Saturn keeps us on target to what we're supposed to be doing. It is the responsible adult of the planets. It deals with longevity and building things slowly. Now, this energy also deals with reaping. So basically, this is the fruits of all of your hard work, whether they be good or bad. But that's why it kind of has that karmic energy to it, because karma isn't really good or bad. It just is the energy that you put out. And the energy is always going to make sure that you get what you've earned. Okay? Saturn is that high standard management that will not allow you to cut corners. It wants it done right. It represents that tough love. Saturn isn't jovial or fun like the sun. No, my dear. Saturn is on its grown man, grown woman type shit. It's on its boss energy. It did not come to play. But you know what is jovial and what is fun? Aries. Aries, yeah. Matter of fact, it is the babe of the zodiacs. It's considered the youngest one because it's the very first zodiac, right? Now, with that being said, them being paired up together, yeah, okay. Let's get into Aries energy a little bit more so we can kind of break that down. Now, Aries is a fire sign, but not just any fire sign. It is the cardinal fire sign. That means it's the trailblazer. It's the very first sign. It is that spark of life to let you know that life is here. Now, Aries home is actually Mars, which Mars is characterized as quick out the gate. Its energy thrives on competition, on completion, independence. Now, it represents the head, so it's headstrong. It's going to be the first one to jump off the cliff. It's not even going to think about it. It's all about that physical body. And speaking of the body, Aries is represented by the head. Now, it also deals with the head of state, or what you would consider leadership, because it's a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are initiators. They get things going. Aries energy is that fire, that warrior. When it's time to get physical, Aries is definitely with the shits. And it's always ready to start a new chapter, even if a foundation for another chapter isn't even fully completed yet. This sign is practically allergic to delays. It does not like any type of delays whatsoever. If there's too many delays, Aries energy will just take it as a sign that maybe this ain't it and just move it along. It doesn't have that practical patience. And it walks in the building with an attitude of I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Now, with that being said, these two energies, yeah, they are not harmonizing at the fuck all. Okay? Just being real. They are exact opposites, honestly. Saturn energy is increasingly slow. Like I said, it's father time. Watching Aries in Saturn is like watching an old man standing there and a young little kid just running circles all the way around that old man, and the old man just standing there just looking, trying to keep up with its eyes. That's what this energy reminds me of, okay? So for the next 3 years, we could definitely expect some cosmic frustration when it comes to these two energies being paired together. That's just being real. So what exactly happens when we have speed meeting stillness? Or when we have pride meeting humanity, which is Saturn and Aries? Well, we get some damn water and oil, okay? Which this mix does not blend well. The universe is basically putting an emergency brake on any of these impulsive natures of Aries. It is forcing cultivation and calculated risk, not any type of snap decisions. Saturn requires you to respect its boundaries. It's all about building that structure for that long-term survival. Aries is like, I'm first, I'm here, I'm ready to get it done. It's about asserting its independence through the grit and the sweat. But it wants it done right now. And it's willing to work hard to get it done right now. It just wants it done right now. Now, being Mars ruled, this gives it the energy of wanting to win at all costs. But it's going to be necessary for us to channel that anger into productive action. Now, this energy is all about building that new crown and mastering that self-leadership that's required for this new era that we're walking into. Because remember, if you caught my Neptune and Aries video, you already know that this is some generational shit that we are building upon right now. The moves that we are making right now will affect generations down the line. Now, we already got a taste of what this energy is going to feel like. Just a small taste. Back in May 24th of 2025 is when we first got that glimpse of that Saturn and Aries energy. It's like it stuck its little pinky toe in there. And then it turned around on July 13th and asked us, now, how did that feel? Did you like that? Because this is the first time that Aries went into retrograde in Saturn. And you already know, retrogrades is all about review. Now, in September, Saturn slid back into Pisces in retrograde because there was still some closure that needed to be done with those spiritual lessons that we have been going through for the last 3 years. Now, on February 13th, Saturn re-enters Aries permanently, where it will remain until 2028. Now, on February 20th, the ultimate seed is going to be planted because we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees in Aries, making this the great reset. Okay? Take advantage of this energy, y'all. This is all about self-mastery and self-discipline. Aries represents the house of self. It represents us, the great I am. Okay? And Saturn did not come to play with us. Y'all already know Saturn came, and if we don't do what we're supposed to do, Saturn will not hesitate to whoop our ass. Now, we will be learning these lessons in Aries until April 12th of 2028. Because that's the time when Saturn enters Taurus, and we'll get them hard lessons about our finances and our self-worth. But right now, it's all about that discipline, okay? And that fire discipline at that. Now, while we were dealing with Saturn in Pisces, Saturn was requiring us to tighten up on our spirituality. A lot of things was being revealed, especially when it comes to the churches and the different organizations when it comes to religion. Now, Saturn deals with the organizations, the corporations, and the governments. Now, with that energy being in a spiritual sign like Pisces, it was definitely forcing us to tighten up, especially because of the fact that by the time Pisces and Neptune was getting in its higher degrees, a lot of people were starting to experience some spiritual psychosis, and Saturn had to come through and whip some people back into shape. Y'all was learning about magic and all kinds of stuff. Y'all was trying to put curses on people and take people's men. And y'all was wondering why the shit ain't working the last few years because Saturn was there. Saturn ain't playing with y'all. That shit was like, whatever you put out there, it's coming back on you and nobody else. So all those love spells that y'all was trying to do, trying to force somebody to be in love with y'all, that shit got reversed. I'm just saying, all them pastors and churches that was lying to the people, saying they taking the money for the church to help the community, and all they was doing was helping themselves, they got exposed. And if you had any type of false sense of structure, that shit got dissolved. Now that Saturn has obviously did its thing with that Pisces energy, it's now rolling over and starting that zodiac wheel from the very tippy top. And we are rolling up our sleeves, and it's time to start building on something that's real and not fake or an illusion. Now, historically, when this energy happens with Saturn in Aries, because of the fact that Saturn deals with the systems, it does require a reset of the systems. Us watching our government fall apart here in the U.S., it is no wonder that this is happening during this energy. Like, I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. If I'm playing a game and I'm starting all over, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to clear the board. And energetically, that is literally what is happening. And especially when it comes to our government and the systems that have been created up until this point. So yes, kings tend to tumble during this time. These are the times when new governments are being built, new laws are being formed, and the redefinition of limitation begins. Now, because Aries/Mars deals with weaponry, we could definitely expect some new regulations and restrictions when it comes to that. This energy will definitely establish boundaries when it comes to violence. And so having gun laws or gun control is one of those things. Now, history has already proven that this is the case. If we go back to 1938, 1939, there was a signing of the Federal Firearms Act. Now, this was the requirement for gun licensing. And it didn't stop there. And in 1968, following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. as well as Robert F. Kennedy, there was an establishment of ATF. And in 1997 through 1998, there was a banning of private gun ownership in the UK. Now, around that same time in the US, there was a requirement for background checks with the launch of NICS. Now, just to predict, if we're going based on history, because this is based on every single time Saturn and Aries get together, the probability around this energy would be a new agency or an improvement to background checks. I would imagine there's going to be a restriction to certain types of guns that you can have, because this has definitely been something that's been a subject for a long time. Now, one of the most profound moments during this decade happens on February 20th. I touched on it a bit earlier. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, this is when Saturn and Neptune link up, okay? And it's at 0 degrees in Aries. Now, this is actually a once-in-a-lifetime portal. Now, this has not happened in over 2,000 years, y'all. 2,000. Now, it's being dubbed as the karmic reset. This energy is definitely meant to be taken seriously because you are planting the seed of your legacy. This would be a great time to launch a passion project that's bound to have some type of longevity to it. So make sure you take advantage of that energy because we won't see it again in our lifetime, okay? Now, because of the fact that Saturn rules the material world and Neptune deals with the astral world or the spirit realm, this creates an overall energy to want to build a structure and tear all of it down all at the same time. So basically, it wants you to tear down the old system so that you can literally just get into building that new one. Some describe this energy as the empathetic machine. Saturn represents the engineered machine. Neptune represents hallucination. It also deals with your empathy as well as your soulfulness. Now's the time to start bringing those spiritual practices into reality and putting some groundwork into them. One thing's for sure, Saturn's going to restrict the hell out of them delusions, okay? Now, this conjunction is actually going to initiate a 36-year cycle. And this is all about spiritual reconstruction. This energy is no longer just content with meditation. And writing down our feelings in a journal is nice and all, and we still want to do that. But you know, Saturn is requiring additional work besides that. This energy is begging us to create, act, and initiate based on our soul's calling. This is the rise of the spiritual warrior. And this is somebody who stands for their truth. They set their boundaries not based on ego, but just some grown-ass responsibility. Now, any of those crazy beliefs that flourished in the dark while Saturn was in Pisces, those things will definitely be coming to light. And that light is harsh, okay? Because it's about a reality. Speaking of reality check, there's a major one for those who are having their Saturn return for the next few years. Also, those solar returns are going to be hitting a little different too. Those birthdays, yeah, those going to be hitting a little different. Now, if you were born between 1967 through 1969 or 1996 through 1998, you are entering your Saturn return this year. And this is a period of personal development. This is when the universe asks you those questions like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then quickly dishes out the reality check that you need to grow up and be that right then and there, okay? It's definitely going to prepare you for the role. Now, before with this energy, you might have been feeling a little lost and confused, had a lot of fears around taking action. Anything that felt too risky, you stayed away from. You would also have trouble being motivated, you would often need somebody else to motivate you. Now, after Saturn gets finished with you, the goal is for you to be assessing your risks, knowing exactly who you are, having the motivation to be a self-starter, and lavishing in those smaller wins that lead to a bigger goal. Now, Cosmic Cousins, this energy is definitely going to be felt for all of us, okay? And the best thing to do in order to handle this energy is understanding that obstacles are opportunities. Really take on that Aries energy of being prepared for the challenge and not having any fear at all. It's time to develop our stamina. And Saturn is damn sure going to make sure that we do, okay? Now, you already know, Cosmic Cousins, I got the tea on where this energy is sitting for you in what house. Because like I just got finished saying, this is happening to us all. It's not just for, the people who have their Saturn in Aries, even though they're going to be feeling it more than anybody. But we all going to be feeling it now. Okay? Now, Aries risings, you should know already. This is in your first house. So similar to individuals who have their Saturn in Aries, this energy is going to be big for you. You already doing a 14-year bid with Neptune, but to also be doing a 3-year bid with Saturn in your first house, that's pretty major. During this time, you're going to learn how to stop waiting for validation. It's time to redefine your sense of self and walk away from anything that does not honor who you are becoming. And this is incredibly important that you have these boundaries because this is in your first house. So anything that Saturn restricts for you will affect your overall just life in general. So just keep that in mind and make sure you don't let nobody play with you. All right? Now, for my Taurus risings, this falls in the 12th house, dealing with the spirit, your subconscious and dreams, and spiritual gifts, and all of that good stuff. Now, the discipline needs to be in your solitude. This is a time where you're supposed to be doing shadow work. You're facing your shadow for the next 3 years. This is going to be a time where you need to release fears through strong spiritual practice. You need to develop a strong spiritual practice that is grounded and foundational. It helps you release those subconscious fears that's revolved around scarcity. Now, for my Gemini risings, this falls in your 11th house. Now, the 11th house deals with your rebellious spirit, your community and friends, the internet and technology, and your social media. Now, this is all about quality over quantity, okay? This is a time to release anything or anyone that is not healthy for you. Stop making commitments to people or to things that don't support your vision long term. Create boundaries, even when it comes to people around you. Gemini energy also deals with your siblings, your neighbors, and those cousins that you call your brothers and sisters. Listen, there are going to be some restriction that needs to be had around them too, okay? You can't be the support system for everyone and then no one be the support system for you. Just make sure you set in those boundaries, okay? Now, for my Cancer risings, this falls in your 10th house. Now, that 10th house is that Saturn house, okay? And this falls in the house of your sister sign, that of which being Capricorn. This is a time for you to stop being passive when it comes to your career direction. You are required for the next 3 years to take authority over the direction that your career path will be going and stop giving that and handing that over to other people. This is the time to put on your boss suit. Step out into the forefront with no fear. This is the time for you to build your legacy. And you know you're doing this for your family and you know how important that is for you. Now, this energy also deals with your reputation. So just make sure that you're choosing authenticity over approval. And don't let nobody play with you when it comes to that. Now, for my Leo risings, this actually falls in your 9th house of your belief systems, your philosophies and wisdom, as well as your abundance and expansion. Now, this energy will be demanding for you to take responsibility over your ideas. It's time that you start looking at life through a wise eye and deepen your philosophical meanings when it comes to certain things. It's time for you to take that wisdom that you've been collecting and put it into action. Ground that energy into the foundation of your everyday to day life. Saturn is requiring this of you in order to open up that door for true abundance for you. Now, for my Virgo risings, this falls in your 8th house. Now, this 8th house deals with your transformations, your shared resources, your investments, and your personal power. Now, Virgo risings, you have to have your emotional boundaries, okay? The time is now for you to start mastering your power dynamics and learning how to develop long-term financial strategies that add onto your stability. This is a time for you to step up when it comes to your assets and start taking more responsibility when it comes to those things, as well as making sure that you stand in your power when it comes to certain decisions. This will be also a time where you need to establish boundaries when it comes to intimacy, making sure that people have earned that side of you, okay? Now, when it comes to my Libra risings, this falls in your home house of the 7th house, which deals with those relationships and partnerships. No more situationships, okay? That's what Pop Saturn said. I didn't say it. That's what Saturn said. It's time for you to take that casual to the committed, okay? This is all about learning how to deal with intimacy, with integrity, without collapsing with your identity, okay? Have those boundaries, set those boundaries. Those boundaries are going to be very important for the next 3 years for you, okay? Now, for my Scorpio risings, this falls in your 6th house of your daily routine and your overall rhythm of life. This is a time for you to rewrite that schedule. You have to find out not only what time management looks like for you, but an overall routine. This is a time where you need to figure out those patterns and why you have such a hard time staying consistent. Now, consistency is going to be the key here. And make sure you choose that consistency over chaos, because with Saturn there, if you play with Saturn, everything will get way chaotic, okay? It will literally be unfunctionable and hard to keep up with, okay? So that's my advice. Now, to my Sagittarius risings, this falls in your 5th house of creativity, romance, kids, as well as that inner child, and just your overall happiness and joy of life, okay? Now's the time for you to stop treating your passions like hobbies, okay? It's time for you to start committing more to the expression of life. Now, Saturn is telling you it's okay to have fun, but just build some structure around that fun. And make sure that you have responsible fun, too. I would definitely not be playing around when it comes to any type of unprotected anything, if you know what I mean. Saturn will make you take responsibility for any mistakes that you out here making if you are not being responsible. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Now, this energy is definitely going to give birth to something new. You get to decide what that looks like, okay? Now, for my Capricorn risings, this falls in your 4th house of foundation and family. Now, this energy is definitely going to get down to the root of your legacies, okay? Now, similar to your sister sign, this is falling in your sister sign's house of that 4th house, that Cancer house. And you being ruled by Saturn, this Aries energy is going to be also in your 1st house. So you actually going to be feeling it just like overall, but you're really going to be feeling it at home as well. It's going to be exaggerated there a little bit more. Now's the time to set firm boundaries when it comes to your family. When it comes to those ancestral patterns, it's time to make sure that you bring that to a halt, okay? This is a time for you to build your inner stability. This is about finding stability all around, not just with your pockets, but also with your family and your home life. Now, my beautiful Aquarius risings, this falls in your 3rd house. That 3rd house of the social, communication, technology, transportation, and your ideas. Now, this is about the mindset upgrade. This energy is going to offer the discipline when it comes to your communication. You are going to have to speak with intention rather than just volume, or when it comes to just clearing out mental clutter. Mean what you say and say what you mean, and say it with your chest. Also, you're going to be having so many different ideas coming in with Neptune there. Make sure that you are able to turn those ideas into reality. You'll thank me later, okay? Now, my beautiful dreamers, my Pisces risings, this falls in your 2nd house, dealing with your value system, your income, and self-worth, and just overall materials. Now, your finances is definitely going to have some boundaries around it, okay? It's time for you to be financially responsible. No more delusional spending, okay? Now, where you need to up the score at is when it comes to that self-worth and that self-value. Yeah, you need to up that price. It's time for you to start seeing your worth, putting a price on all those unique talents that you actually have. That's right, you've just walked into the upcharge. And Saturn is definitely going to require you to put that upcharge on your self-worth and stop wearing out that strip when it comes to your credit card. Bottom line is there's no more overgiving, okay? Now, Cosmic Cousins, this energy is your warrior energy. And wherever this sits for you, this is the area in life where you need to be a warrior at, okay? This is not about making impulsive decisions in this area. It's about being disciplined and very intentional. Now, because Aries energy is the warrior, okay, it does have a problem with anger. It does have anger issues, all right? But that anger can easily be used and transmuted and used as tackling fuel. If you ever seen The Water Boy, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Take that frustration and channel it into a specific energy that is actually meaningful and hella more beneficial for you than that quick instant gratification of just being mad and angry and going off on somebody. Especially because that anger could definitely come with a price. Remember, Saturn is there, and Saturn don't care. Saturn don't give a damn if you normally a nice person and you normally don't do this type of thing. Saturn only responds to the action and the energy that you're currently in, okay? This is about truth and boundaries without any type of violence or any type of ego, okay? The goal here is to learn as you go. And even if you make a mistake, so the fuck what? It is what it is. This is not about waiting for lightning to strike and hoping for something to happen. This is about you getting off your ass and going to find those two sticks and getting down in the dirt and rubbing them motherfuckers together and sparking your life the way it needs to. Aries energy requires you to be brave, but Saturn requires you to be disciplined. So the strategy is simple. Look before you leap. And just like I said before, make sure that your risks are calculated. It's okay to still take them, but just make sure that they're calculated rather than them impulsive mistakes when you just roll out there haphazardly and just hope for the best. Saturn is not going to give you the best, okay? Saturn ain't going to give you the worst just because you did that dumbass shit, okay? Saturn says take the leap, but just make sure that the foundation is strong first. I mean, you can leap out there if you want to, but you're going to fall if that foundation is not strong. Period. Ultimately, this transit is from 2025 to 2028, and it's ultimately a cosmic invitation, okay? Now, Saturn is inviting us to awaken our inner fire, and we could do so by claiming the truth within our boundaries. Aries loves to be bold, and Saturn don't mind a little boldness, as long as you don't mind a little sweat, grit, and tears. Now, whether you're an individual entering your Saturn return this year, or whether this is going to be affecting your solar return, or if you're just navigating this through your regular housing system, this is that universal reset energy, and the message is going to remain the same. And that's the question, who are you when no one else is watching? And are you living in the integrity of the version of yourself that you want to see going forward? Is this a legacy that you want to build? This energy is downright telling us that dreams are cute and all, but unless building a structure or a foundation for this energy is literally just a thought. Dreams have to be forged in fire and built brick by brick. And trust me, Cosmic Cousins, by the time Saturn enters Taurus in 2028, we're walking out that bitch completely pimped out and thugged out, okay? Standing on big business when it comes to whatever part of life that energy sits in for us. With that being said, Cosmic Cousins, you already know I'm getting ready to wrap this video on up. If you made it this far and you ain't hit that like, then what are you really doing with yourself? You already know what to do. Go on and hit that like. Go on and subscribe to your girl if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this Cosmic Tea. And Cosmic Cousins, I'm out of here.